Olympus has launched two new cameras lately, and I have been testing one of the older ones. I did a test on EM10 Mark II about a week ago, and today I take a look at the EM5 Mark II. How is it still worth getting? Hi there, my name is Peter Forsgard, an Olympus visionary and a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And before we get into this EM5 Mark II, I want to ask you, I hope you're all safe. And I know we are living in a strange times, but as I said, I hope you're all safe. I've been indoors for a couple of months now, and today I took a walk around Helsinki. It was really exciting to see the empty city. It's really rare to see those places in Helsinki totally empty. And it's okay to walk around outside here in Finland. The restrictions are not that strict. Of course, you cannot have big parties or big gatherings, but walking around is all right if you just keep the social distance at least for about 2 meters from others. And usually here in Finland, it's not a problem. But today, the city was really empty. And I had the lens choice for the documenting the streets. I had the 12mm f2.0 lens because choosing a wide-angle lens on a situation like that when it's empty, I wanted to really have a wide angle of view so that the emptiness will be present in the images, really, because if I had used a longer lens, it would have squeezed the perspective and things might not look that empty and wide. That's why we call it wide angle, I guess. And another thing, as I said, I've been indoors mainly for about 2 months now and been sitting a lot, and that's why I actually got a new desk which goes with the electricity, you know, up and down, so I can sit and stand. But the funny thing was that when I got this ready and had all shipped my old desk down to the basement, I came back to this electricity work table, or what desk, whatever you call this. It from IKEA, and guess what? It did not work. So now I'm stuck with this like this. I need to contact them and see what they can do about it. But it's going to be a big hassle to take it back and build a new one, and I don't know what I'm going to do. But okay, that's not a in a vast perspective, that's not a big problem. Of course, it's a problem for me right now, but in the long run, or compared to the other problems that we might have we are having in the world, it's a minor thing, but it's still annoying to spend a lot of time building a desk for you and then, you know, need to do it again. But before we look at the images, let's look at the specs of this camera. And now some images. But as you can see, nothing wrong with the image quality. It's a 16 megapixel image sensor. The newer one has 20, but still, it doesn't really affect the image quality that much. The only problem that I had was very blue shadows, but that's got nothing to do with the camera. It is the way it is because it had a blue sky with some clouds, and then the sun was shining from very low angle, and the shadows were quite big and dark in a way, and that's why the shadows are blue, because the sun reflects from the blue sky, and I need to tweak those because blue shadows make the image look a bit dirty. The colors are a bit dirty, so I need to warm it up a bit, but otherwise there was no problem. And as I said, the blue shadows had nothing to do with the camera itself. With any camera it would have been the same. But what about the other features then? I made a video about the EM10 Mark II about a week ago, and I said that it's a good thing that Olympus has the same features in most of their cameras, and the only reason that they might not put an feature in a camera is the processor. If the processor is not powerful enough, then some of the features cannot be done. Otherwise, usually all the features are there, and that's the case also with the E-M5 Mark II. You have bracketing, you got HDR, you got the keystone comp, you got live comp, you got lifetime, and you even have focus bracketing and focus stacking, which is totally cool. And then, of course, you have the high-res shot, which is really cool thing. It's not handheld, you need a tripod, but still, I remember when it came, and it was really cool thing to have. And the high-res shot, it's not only about higher amount of megapixels, it's also about deeper colors, because the same place in an image will be recorded with all three colors of the RGB sensor that it has. And that's why the image quality is a lot better with the high-res shots. And it's not only because it has more megapixels, it's about the color depth in a way. It's just a lot better. And then the E-M5 Mark II is weather sealed, which is a big thing, because this used to be my favorite travel camera, and I still could take this with me. Of course, the new E-M5 Mark III is a better camera, but of course it costs a lot more. So this is a more cost-effective. The price ratio with quality is really great with this one. And I like to use the smaller lenses on smaller OMD bodies. They just more balanced. That's why I took the 12mm. I could have had the 7-14, but that's a bit too big for this camera. And also the new 12-45mm f4 would be totally awesome with this camera. I haven't tried it with this one, but I bet it's a really good one. And then before we go into the second set of images, I want to talk a little bit about the look and feel of this camera. And when I took this from the cabinet behind me over there, I haven't used it for a while. I put a battery in and grabbed it, and I didn't even have the extra grip that I usually have. And I took this combo with the 12mm out for a walk with me. And one thing I noticed is the back wheel. It's actually better positioned than the back wheel on the newer model. It's a bit more out, because I like to have the the exposure compensation on the back wheel, and it's a bit easier. But then also the dials were a bit looser, and I set my camera to have the aperture priority and f2.8. And then I realized a few times that I've accidentally changed the aperture from the front wheel. It's a bit loose. Maybe it has gotten a bit looser because I've used this quite a lot, but I don't remember. But that was something that happened. So be careful. Don't accidentally change your aperture. It's not a big deal if it's 4.0. It really doesn't matter. But still, if you want to use 2.8, it's nice that it would stick with that. But as I said, I've moved it by accident a few times. But otherwise, it's totally good. It's a bit too small for my hand without the grip, but with the grip, it's just perfect. And now let's look at some more images. And before the conclusion, let's talk about the video features of this camera. It's only Full HD, so it doesn't have 4K. That was the time when 4K wasn't that common in cameras. Now it's kind of like a default to have 4K in every camera. So if you're okay with Full HD video, this is a really good video camera because it has a very good IBIS to use with video. And I remember this was one of the first cameras that could be used for handheld video and still get some really nice footage. So you didn't need any gimbals or tripod. You could use handheld video with this, and you still can. It's a really good video camera. Of course, 4K in many ways is better, but if you don't need it, then this is totally fine with video. It's a good quality video camera too. And it has the mic input, and it also, with the extra grip, it has the headphone jack, which is really good. If you're shooting video and want to monitor the audio, then it's a really good thing to have the extra grip for this. And then the conclusion. I think this EM5 Mark II is still worth considering. There's nothing wrong with the IQ. If you're okay with 16 megapixels, no 4K, and only 5 EV IBIS, then no problem having this. And I don't think there's anything to be worried about, really, because if you can get this with a good price, I think this is a very good value for money. Still is, even though it's quite old camera. I think it was introduced 2015, I will put the right number here because I actually didn't check it before the video, but I think it was 2015. So it's a like 5-year-old camera, but you know, still 5-year-old cameras are totally okay today. Stay safe and thanks for watching, and bye for now.